Hey everyone, and welcome back to this channel. Today we're talking business. But right before, let me take a minute to thank all of those who subscribe to this channel or who expressed, an interest toward whatever I'm producing. I'm really grateful for that. And even though I don't have maybe let's say thousands of subscribers at the moment, it's really nice to know that some people are actually interested about the content you're producing. So thanks for following. Thanks for sharing again, and thanks for expressing your interest. And for those who aren't subscribed yet, please do so. Share the video, leave a comment if you want to give some feedbacks, and I'll be very grateful. And I feel this helped me continuing the adventure on YouTube. So thank you. And so I want to talk about the consulting game in North America. As some of you already know, I'm a software developer consultant, and so I have a small company called Siki Labs that provide those consulting service in North America. And so the way we get our contract is we are approached by headhunting companies that have relations with bigger clients, and then they propose some contracts to us and we start negotiating. And so why headhunting? It's because most of the big companies here in North America, they'd rather deal with intermediary headhunting companies instead of dealing directly with the end consultant, because I believe it's less management and also it's lighter on the legal side. So that's the way it is, and that's the way we're working. It's always better to have a deal directly with a big end client, but usually, it's really rare in the software development consulting world. But that's what it is. And so I've learned a few things in the consulting business. The first thing is that everything is strictly business. This is the main thing. Everything is strictly business. The first way you start noticing that in contract negotiation, right? So the contract negotiation is between the headhunting company and the end client. So headhunting company will not negotiate a contract for the consultant. They will actually negotiate a contract for them because they are trying to increase their revenues, they are trying to grow, they are trying to make business, and that's totally fair. But we just have to keep this in mind. For instance, for example, a big company, they have a contract, they're looking for contractors, and so they have a budget to allow to this contract, right? And so the end contractor, they also have their budget, so they also have their rate and what they're expecting out of this contract. But the headhunting companies, they also take their share of the contract, and the headhunter himself or herself gets his or her share of the contract, so he gets a bonus out of this contract, right? So you have to keep all of these things in mind. And so you keep in mind that negotiation will never go at the advantage of the contractor. Why? Because contractor has his rate, and then, for example, whenever we have to make some compromise, expectation is too high for the end client, for example, then the end client will negotiate with the headhunter, and then the headhunter will get back to us. But how it goes is that you as a consultant will lower your hand, but the headhunter will never lower his share, right? Because the contract negotiation is always at his advantage. So these have to be kept in mind, so that you understand the process, and then you know how to negotiate basically, and you know what's happening. So contract negotiation never at the advantage of the consultant. You can negotiate yourself at your advantage, but it will be between you and the headhunter. So it's always between you and the headhunter. So you have to, negotiate to the headhunter so that he brings that negotiation elsewhere with the client. But you just have to keep in mind that the second part of the conversation will not be at your advantage. So it will really depend on how you negotiate the contract with the headhunter. And you also have to understand that whatever the headhunters get back to you with, it is according to what he's thinking he has to get out of this contract and what you could get out of this contract, not what you want to get out of this contract. So you have to know your worth. You have to know also the contract worth. You have to negotiate to your advantage. You have to, say what you have to say. Strictly business, basically. Second thing I've learned is that, we should never think that a headhunting company will actually somehow defend you if any conflicts happen between you and the final client. This is never going to happen because usually those final clients are huge companies, so $billion company, and they provide like a big markets to those headhunting companies. So they won't risk losing a big share of the market because of a single contractor, right? So they'll say basically that they'll go and talk to the client, but it's still a negotiation. It's not something that they're going to defend you about, or it's a negotiation. And so it will always still be regarding their own interest. So they'll see first if their interest is in there, and then they start talking to the client. So keep that in mind as well. So conflict happened, you have to defend yourself, you have to talk to the headhunting company. Of course, you have to talk to the client if you can, but never keep in mind that someone is going to defend you somehow. No, never. Strictly business. Strictly business. And so sometime also like negotiating a contract, the headhunting company will promise you like a lot of things, right? Contract negotiation, salary augmentation, and all of those things. And it's good, but at the end of the day, they don't control the budget of the end client. So it's good if they can say there is a good chance that this happened or that happened, but anything could happen on the client side, right? So they can revise their budget, they can lower their hand, or they can just cancel the contract. You never know. And we had actually a similar experience with a client. So we were at the end of a contract, and we were actually looking for other contracts. So we actually had some prospects. We almost signed, I think, even like 2 other contracts at the same time, something like that. And then the headhunter came back to us and said something like, hey, this contract will probably be renewed, so you have to wait, and I got some promise, and I talked to this manager, and that guy promised me this and that. And so we had a good feeling, and then we were like, okay, why not? Like, we could be able to do this again because we had a good experience with that client. But as you may guess, at the end of the day, the contract was not renewed as we were expecting. And because simply the client, they pivoted on something, and then they didn't have the budget for us, and that's what happened, and sad, but again, it's strictly business. And headhunting company were looking for themselves, that's fine, but we should also look for ourselves. And this was a lesson for us, but it is also a lesson for everyone. Like, look out for yourself, and don't actually believe that everything is assured, everything is sure. You never know what can happen tomorrow, right? So that's life. Another thing that I've learned about consulting in North America is that a contract, it doesn't mean much, right? Contract is just something that says, hey, you will start this date with this client for, I don't know, this amount of time, and then you'll pay this amount of money, and that's it. But it doesn't protect you against anything, and at most it will protect the end client and also the headhunting companies. And sometimes you're allowed to add your own statement to the contract, but it's not always the case. And frankly, sometimes we don't even care about the contract itself. The only thing interested for us is basically the amount of time we're going to spend on that contract, the amount of money we're going to get paid. For us, we care about the NDA, so the NDA statement, non-disclosure agreement, and also the non-concurrency statement as well, because we are on the market for multiple clients, so we don't want to be in faulty regarding the concurrency statement here and there. But contract can be canceled anytime by the end client or by the consultant. And usually, like in most of the contract that we are getting, this is how it is stated. So in software engineering North America, regular consulting gigs, contract doesn't mean much. So the only thing you have to care about is the money, the time, the NDA, and the concurrency statement, and that's it. And as I've been saying throughout this video, one more thing, and one of the most important things that I've noticed in the consulting game is that headhunting company, they won't hesitate to underpay you. Like, they won't hesitate at all. They're looking out for their business, and you should look out for yourself too, for your business, because you have a company to run and you have, growth that you are expecting. One of my first consulting gig, I noticed, a few times after I started the contract that I was paying 50% less than what I should have been paid for some reason. And that's sad, but it was business. And the headhunter, they didn't hesitate actually to send you out to that contract knowingly, and because the only thing they see is that they'll get 50% more on their share. It's not the end client that would pay less, it's because the headhunting get more. And that's what was happening, because actually headhunters, they negotiate the contract really well to the client, and they make sure that the end client will pay actually good money. That's what is happening. And so you need to know the contract worth. You need to actually know your worth as well. You need to look what's happening in the market, ask around, discuss with people, and then make sure you're not underpaid, because they're not gonna look out for you. You have to look out for yourself. You have to talk that talk, you have to walk that walk. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for subscribing again and sharing the video. I really appreciate that. And as usual, stay original. Peace.